Sagittarius, welcome to your weekly reading for August the 22nd to the 28th. Let's get started and see what messages we have for Sagittarius, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Keeping in mind these are general readings and may not resonate for everyone, so take the messages that do and check out your other placements because you may have messages there. All right, Sagittarius. Ooh, No Place Like Home coming out for you really quickly. Let's shuffle a little bit more and see if another card wants to come out. Truth be told, No Place Like Home. Bottom of the deck is Time for a Nap. So taken together, No Place Like Home and Truth Be Told, that to me is just a message of authenticity, is really being honest and authentic about you, really being yourself. And Sagittarius, it's almost like you just need to show the world the real you, to just be who you are, to feel like you're at home with yourself. Tell yourself the truth. It's almost like being at home with yourself, being your real self, and feeling like that's okay, and accepting that, and then sort of taking a nap when it comes to overthinking about how to present yourself to the world. It's almost like you just need to tell the truth about it. Tell the truth and be authentic. Stay in your own vibe here. This is an interesting moment of authentic expression. That's what I'm trying to say. Authentic expression of the self, and sort of letting this idea that you have to pretend to be something you're not, or you have to hide who you really are, that you can put that to rest. Take a nap on that. But that it's an interesting message of sort of feeling at home within yourself so that you can feel free to be yourself around others. And it's only when we feel comfortable with who we are, when we feel at home with ourselves, when we accept ourselves, the authentic self, whole and complete as is, that we can really be ourselves with others. Otherwise, you might find that you're wearing a mask around other people, Sagittarius. And I feel like your first three cards are sort of guiding you away from wearing a mask and away from being false, and sort of just being your truthful, authentic self outwardly, expressing yourself. Very interesting. Let's see what the tarot cards will reveal for you, Sagittarius. Three of Cups in reverse. So you could be dealing with some friendships this week where you just need to just be yourself. Be yourself around these friends. Maybe you're not feeling like these are your people anymore. Maybe by being someone who's not wearing a mask around others, you don't fit into this group anymore. And that's why it's coming out in reverse. And there's the Four of Cups, a very well shuffled deck, getting two cards in synchronicity here, 3, 4, both in the same suit. The Four of Cups is sort of this moment where we feel like we've missed an opportunity. So you know what this looks like to me, Sag? I'm almost wondering if there's been some relationship issues that you've had recently and that are coming to a head this week, where you sort of feel like, did I miss out on an opportunity? Have I made a mistake by being authentic, by telling the truth? I lost out on being in this group of friends. And then there's almost this emotional response of sort of feeling like, did I make a mistake? Did I miss an opportunity? You're sort of thinking about those people and thinking, well, now I don't have them. And I was just being myself and telling the truth. And so, I mean, that's a tricky spot to be in. However, I gotta say that, you know, it sort of sounds a little cliched, but like if by being yourself you don't fit in with these people, then these aren't your people, and that's okay. You don't have to feel like you missed out on an opportunity, because the people that you align with will come later, will come once you are feeling this authentic self where you don't have to wear a mask. Like if you have to wear a mask to be a part of this group, then were you really ever a part of this group? Maybe you were in the past when you didn't realize you were sort of not really yourself. And perhaps the experience has taught you to be authentic and tell the truth and be yourself. Seeing the Nine of Swords tells me that not only emotionally are you going to feel like you missed an opportunity, but it's almost like it's going to sort of sit with your thoughts, and it might upset you a little bit mentally as well as emotionally. You might be sort of overthinking, what have I done? But honestly, it really feels like this is a time where you're being guided to really be careful with how you think about this situation, because I can't help but think that if you start to really think that you missed an opportunity, you might go back to that, or you might fight the idea of being authentic in the first place. You might be like, well, I don't want to lose these people. I just want them to accept me for who I am. But that's not up to you. It's not your job to make people love you. It's your job to be yourself and give people the opportunity to love you. And if they don't take that opportunity and you're being authentic, then they're just not your people. But it feels like it's heavier than that. It feels like with this Nine of Swords, you could sort of enter into a place where you start to feel fearful or paranoid. And you might actually even have it could affect your self-esteem negatively, because you might feel like, well, now nobody likes me. Now no one's my friend. Now these people don't like me. And I wonder if they're talking about me behind my back. Are they gossiping about me? Are they, what are they talking about? Like, this could get out of hand. And I think that's why we're seeing take a nap. Like, don't go down that road. This row stops here with the King of Swords, who's very strategic and analytical, but also flexible and very adaptable. And so the King of Swords, I think, is his energy is appearing here for you to say, keep an eye on those thoughts. Really keep an eye on the way you're processing the information here, and really try to see the truth in it. That if by being yourself and by being authentic, you don't fit into a group of people anymore, then those aren't your people, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with these people. It's just you don't fit there. You could be, a square peg trying to fit into a round hole, and maybe you got good at sort of squeezing your way in there, but you're sort of done with that. I think you're starting to just be who you are. And sometimes we don't fit into groups anymore that we were wearing a mask in, Sag, does that make sense? Seeing the Knight of Swords in reverse tells me that this change, you may resist it initially, but then you're sort of going to have this choice of direction. And I think seeing the King of Wands there tells me that you're going to choose a path where you do want to belong, or where you do feel like you belong, and where you feel like you can be authentic and loved for that authentic self without having to wear a mask. And that it's going to create a situation where you start to really look at whether or not things were ever in balance in the first place. But, analyzing the past is sort of a waste of your time too. That's, I think, also why you're seeing take a nap. This is almost going to show you a big truth in that where you really stand with some of these friend groups. And you might start to feel like you have to look over your shoulder. But I kind of want to show you here, you've got the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles next to each other. And the Two of Wands up here, like lots of twos. I feel like you have the opportunity to choose a new direction for yourself. And that you've also got the Ten of Cups with the Devil here and the Three of Swords, which tells me that you're going to be moving from heartbreak to fulfillment, because you're choosing authenticity and truth. You're choosing just to be who you are, and to love yourself as you are, and to feel that inner fulfillment. I think is going to attract to you new people that see you and don't diminish you. Seeing the Devil in reverse sort of suggests to me that you're going to need to be aware of your motivations, because you could be sort of experiencing a huge release as you move through this process, Sagittarius, and you might need to sort of break the chains with, like, cut the ties. I think that's also why we're seeing the Two of Swords and the Two of Pentacles. You may have to cut ties with this group because it could feel very uncomfortable. Excuse me. It could feel very uncomfortable for you to belong there once you've been truthful. And you might initially feel sort of left out, you know, and that you've missed an opportunity and that you're left out. But ultimately, what's really happened is that you've set yourself free. And you've set yourself free from a lot of heartache. I think there was a lot of pain in some of these relationships for you. And this is very interesting. I think you're going to really set yourself free. Be aware of your motives here, because there was a one-way flow here. There was a one-way flow of giving. You know, when I see this Six of Pentacles, it makes me think that this was a one-way street, and it will stay a one-way street. So it's like, if you want to continue in this dynamic, then you have to be okay with the idea that you're going to be giving and not receiving. You have to be okay with the idea that you'll be wearing a mask and you won't be authentic. You have to be okay with the idea that you're going to sort of feel like you have to look over your shoulder all the time. There is transformation here, Sagittarius, but it's going to involve cutting chains. It's going to be involving cutting ties, because I feel like right now this situation brings out things that don't feel like they're yours. Like, I feel like you're feeling very much like this no place like home energy. And then when you think about this connection, you start to sort of feel paranoid, fearful, and like sad that you don't belong anymore. And that's, I don't think that's the point of this. I think the point of this is to empower you to just trust that if these aren't your people anymore, and that if you have to wear a mask around them, then there are folks out there that you don't have to wear a mask around, and you can be yourself, and they will love you and see how valuable you are. There's almost that kind of note here too, that it's almost like you weren't appreciated. And there's a choice here to make this week, Sag. It's going to be, do I stay and wear the mask, or do I cut the cords and separate myself from this? It's an interesting dynamic that you face this week. And I think that cutting ties is where you're being guided to go. Go where you feel no place like home. That's where you need to go. And if you don't feel at home wearing a mask around people, then this isn't where you need to be. Very interesting. Let's see what final guidance you'll receive here to close your reading, Sagittarius. Ooh. Let's see. What do you need to release? Very good question, considering what we just discussed. And then it says here, nothing is yet set in stone, and look at the bigger picture. So when we see these messages, it's very confirming that what do you need to release? What do you need to cut cords to, cut ties to? Nothing is set in stone. So take a nap on trying to analyze the future outcome of this situation, and to look at the bigger picture so that you can see that, you know, there's so many people you can connect with and form supportive friendships with, that it doesn't have to be this tiny microcosm of people that if you don't belong to this group, then that's it. You know, this is the full moon in Sagittarius guiding you to look at the bigger picture, that ultimately the goal is to be authentic and to give people the opportunity to see our authentic selves. And if they choose to love us or not, that's up to them. Our job is to maintain that authentic self-expression, being ourselves, loving ourselves, and then giving people the opportunity to make that decision. And, you know, This is very interesting, Sagittarius. I hope this reading has been helpful. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm sending you so much love and light, my friends, and we'll see you again soon for another reading. Take care.